Hi guys! Today I'm on the campus of one famous university. Can you guess which one, judging by the background? Well, you probably guessed it already, because this is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's the most famous university in the USA and one of the best universities in the world. Today I came to campus to talk to the admissions office to see how the students are living here, and in this video I will tell you how to apply to MIT in more detail. In fact, the impressions from visiting MIT are ambiguous, because on the one hand it looks like an engineering plant, and on the other hand it is stuffed with such quirky buildings like that you can see in the background. By the way, a little story about this compound. This architectural structure was built by one of the MIT students. Everyone thinks that there is some kind of mystery in it, some kind of super backstory. By the way, in the center there is something that looks like a yellow submarine, and people think that the architect who created this building somehow associated with the yellow submarine from the famous song. But everything turned out to be quite simple when we found out how it was built. So the student just crumpled a piece of paper, tossed it in the trash can, and when he got it out, he saw these random figures and thought, why not make a real building out of it? Creative, isn't it? And that's exactly what students do on campus. They create. By the way, there is another creative building of MIT students behind me. Until a certain time in Boston, it was forbidden to build higher than 20 floors buildings, so the students creatively built it on the pillars here. Thus, they got the tallest building, on top of which they installed a piece of special equipment which determines the seismic situation and calculates where and when there will be a hurricane or some kind of earthquake. Well, now I'll tell you about the admission. First of all, I want to note that MIT has its own application form. It's on their website, while to enroll in all other universities, you have to complete a common application. You can't do it at MIT, apply with their application only. Basically, common application and MIT applications are very similar, but there is one difference. There are 5 questions in the MIT form that you need to answer as wordier as possible. These questions are asked to unravel your personality to the maximum and to learn more about you. These questions may include: what is your community? How do you improve community every day? What do you do for fun? That is, you get it. What kind of society do you live in? What are you doing for fun? What do you like to do in your free time? Because free time is just a tiny moment that every busy school graduate has, and you need to use it effectively. And MIT wants to know what you spend your time on, what interests you have. In order to apply, you need the following. First, you need to write a good essay that presents you as a personality, in which you can talk about all your extracurricular activities, your volunteer projects, your achievements, your downfalls. Show yourself as a bright personality.
I'm exceedingly smart. I graduated college at 14. While my brother was getting an STD, I was getting a PhD.
The next thing you will need is recommendation letters. Typically, MIT requires 1 recommendation letter from a math teacher and 1 letter from a liberal arts teacher. Yes, liberal arts, despite the fact that MIT is a technical engineering university. Please note that a recommendation letter should not be callous. That is, it shouldn't be just a letter listing your qualities like smart, kind, pretty. No, it doesn't fit. Here you need to describe some of your achievements, your ups and downs, some cases that reflect your personality, your character, perhaps your leadership qualities, or the quality of a scientist, or the quality of an inventor. So it must be a well-written recommendation letter. Very often students write letters on their own, but later they give it to the teacher to sign or consult with him about what they could write. Such letters are usually much better received by the admissions office because they are more sincere, not as callous as teachers used to write in our schools. The next thing you will need is standardized testing. MIT allows international students to take one of two tests, either TOEFL or SAT. You're probably also surprised by this combination, but this is the MIT requirement. You can see this requirement for yourself on the university website. In addition to one of the tests, also a foreign student must pass a subject test in mathematics and one of the optional tests in sciences, that is, SAT test in biology, chemistry, or physics. In addition to TOEFL or SAT, accordingly, you also need to take the subject test, specific testing in the subject. Please note that you cannot take two tests on the same day, so sign up for them in advance. Another criterion by which your application will be assessed is, of course, your GPA for the last few years of high school. Usually 2-3 years of high school studies are taken into account. The American education system is easier because they evaluate American students by the number of high-level subjects. In their school, you can study a subject of a standard level and you can study subjects of an advanced level. If a student, so to speak, challenges himself and takes subjects of a higher level with in-depth knowledge, then they accept it much better and pick such students. But what do we do with our education system if in our country all subjects are basically taught at the same level and there is no division according to the complexity of subjects? I talked about it with the admissions committee and they told me that it's okay that students come from different countries of the world. They evaluate everyone equally. There is no priority for locals over foreigners. Everyone gets into the same pool and the best students are selected among them. Therefore, what do they look at when the subjects are not divided by levels in our education system? They look at Olympiads, at your academic work, at everything you do outside the classroom, outside of the standard lesson. By the way, when you prepare for the Olympiads, you get additional, more in-depth information, and this is already an advanced class.
Which means a spherical multidimensional superfluid shows the same negative energy density as space-time. So what do you think?
Another part of the application process is the interview. Usually everyone is afraid of it, but the admissions committee says that it's not a big deal, and on the contrary, this is your chance to reveal yourself as a personality in a private conversation. You can prove yourself, talk about your qualities, tell what you're good at, what do you do, what you are researching.
And I'd like to tell you why I should be chosen to go to Mars!
That is all you need to apply to MIT. Of course, MIT is a very selective university. Every year, only 5-6% of students get admitted there. The admission process is not so easy, but if you prepare for it in advance and build your admission plan step by step, then you have every chance to become a part of this incredibly creative engineering community called MIT. Well guys, I hope my video about entering MIT was useful to you, so don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.